What is up, guys? It is Marcus from Perspective Sports, and I didn't think I'd have to make this video. I thought common sense would have prevailed by now, but it clearly has not. College football elitism has now spilled over into my beloved college basketball, as over the last couple of weeks, ESPN and Bruce Pearl have brought forth one of the most asinine discussions I've ever heard in the history of sports. And it has to do with Miami of Ohio basketball, who is in the midst of an amazing season that currently sees them 30-0 and ranked 19th in the nation. Yet there are discussions about should they be in the tournament if they don't win their conference tournament. They're being questioned about making a 68-team tournament if they don't win their conference tournament, despite being 30-0 currently and ranked 19th in the nation. Now, who are they being put up against? Auburn University, a 14-loss Auburn University basketball team. And now, to be fair to Bruce Pearl, he's a former Auburn head coach, very accomplished, whose son is now the head coach at Auburn. So it's no surprise that he thinks Auburn should be in the tournament. The bias, of course, it's definitely there. And is there an argument for Auburn to be in the tournament? Yes, I'd listen to one. But not over a Miami basketball team. And of course, he's made the prototypical hypothetical arguments that all SEC fans, coaches, and players do, that if they play in this conference, they'd be no good. But in this case, he chose the Big East. This is what he had to say, and I quote, "They may not finish last, but I'll tell you what, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Who's the last place team? It would be Marquette? I don't know." End quote. Of course you don't know. It's a hypothetical. I can say they'll finish first. In a hypothetical situation, I can make up any conditions I want to draw any conclusion I need. And so it just doesn't make sense to say that if they played in this conference, they wouldn't be any good, because we'll never know. If Auburn didn't have to play in the SEC, would they still have 14 losses? I don't know. Nobody knows the answers to these questions, so we only can go by what has happened on the court. And the number one argument I'm seeing all over Twitter is the schedule. In order to schedule a game, no matter what sport it is, the two sides have to agree to play. And they have to agree on a multitude of things that include but aren't limited to time, date, payment, travel, tickets. You know, there's an array of things that need to be agreed upon before the game can be played. And here are some of the teams that Miami reached out to try to schedule the game this year. Pittsburgh, Wisconsin, neither of them replied. They reached out to Marquette, who, according to Bruce Pearl, they may not be better than. They had a chance to prove it. Marquette chose not to accept the game. And it got to the point where Miami of Ohio was afraid they wouldn't be able to schedule 31 games this year. They thought they wouldn't be able to meet their home game requirements for their conference. They ended up getting it. And, you know, they started offering home and homes where they start on the road. And they still were having trouble getting games. So in order to schedule these games, two sides have to agree. And they had a very hard time doing that this year. And so with all things considered, they did what they were supposed to do. And they're doing what they're supposed to do on the basketball court. And so to imply that they shouldn't be in the tournament unless they win their conference just makes absolutely no sense to me. Now, if you want to compare Auburn to Ohio State or Seton Hall, or maybe their conference mate Texas A&M about who should be in the tournament, let's have those discussions. But to sit here and talk about a 30-0 basketball team, in worst case scenario, 30-2 basketball team, not being in the tournament makes absolutely no sense to me. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'll see you there.